Okay, we are live. Welcome, guys, to the pre-market overview. Today is Wednesday, July 8th. Happy Wednesday. Hope your trading week is going well so far. My name's Becky. My name and email address over here. So becky@tradewithufos.com. If you need to email me for any reason, you can get me on that. Otherwise, the support team, always best to get hold of, support@tradewithufos.com. They are quicker at responding. So support@tradewithufos.com if you have any questions about anything we covered today, the channel, technology we use, whatever it is. Oh, sorry, let me just get rid of that. Okay. Right, so just to explain very quickly what the overview is about, what we're going to go through for those of you that haven't joined me before. We go through our newsletter. That's the main purpose of what we do in the overview. So our newsletter, if you're not already subscribed to get this document yourself, you can email us newsletter@tradewithufos.com. And then we will put you on that subscription list and you'll get it every day. So the document that I go through today, you'll get obviously an updated one every single day that we send out. Okay, so I'm just going to read the disclaimers. Before I do that, I'm just going to highlight here what we have coming up. So today being a Wednesday means that we have futures at 9 a.m. Eastern and we have options at 1 p.m. Eastern. You'll see that obviously Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have stocks and investing. We have sharpening over the weekend. Those are going to be sessions on reinforcing the methodology that we use, also psychology sessions. Speaking of psychology, the next upcoming live course we have is the psychology course. It's a 7-day course. 7-day course. July 11th to the 17th is the next one. Again, we say this all the time, but psychology is often so overlooked and is so important when it comes to your trading. Too many people miss it. And then wonder why they have problems. So if you haven't already addressed trading psychology, I would really highly recommend that course. After that, you can see we have backtesting, futures, stocks, and then trading plans. I'll let you guys read through the dates on those whilst I read the disclaimers, and then I'll show you the newsletter and we'll go through that. Okay, so disclaimers. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradewith provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. Important information, the following presentation is for educational purposes only. All the symbols and trading ideas discussed are for demonstrating and are not recommendations. Active options and futures trading carries a high degree of risk and may not be suitable for all traders. Past historical trading performance of real or simulated trading does not guarantee success and may not be indicative of future results. You Can Trade is an online media publication service which provides educational investment content and ideas along with live trading demonstrations and does not provide investment or trading advice, research, or recommendations of any kind. Please visit www.youcantrade.com for additional disclosure information. Okay, so that's that done. Let's move on and have a look through the newsletter. So let's just zoom in here so we can see it a bit better. Okay, so this is what the newsletter looks like. And like I said, if you subscribe to it, you'll get this sent to you every day. What we do in the newsletter is we will go through 4 of the major markets in the world. So we'll see here, we look at the S&P. So obviously one of the biggest equity indexes in the world. We have oil and gold, both commodities, one in the form of energy, one in the form of metal. And we look at the euro, one of the highest traded currencies in the world. In fact, we're using the euro-US dollar, which is the highest traded currency pair in the world, with the US dollar being responsible for 80% of transactions worldwide every single day. So we've covered a lot of what goes on in the markets out there. Even if you don't trade these directly, you might trade things that are correlated to it. You'll see as well, we go through a daily time frame in each of these markets. Again, you might trade at different time frames and different things happen on different time frames, but the daily does fall into what a lot of people do. So what we'll do, what we go through in the newsletter and what we'll explain in the overview is we go through the climate, which is in what direction are these markets moving, otherwise called trend or environment. In what movement are we going in? Are we in an upwards climate, a downwards climate? Is it confirmed or not, i.e. do we have probabilities in our favor or not? Propagating, that tells us how long averagely these markets go in that particular direction and how far we're into that so far. All based on probabilities and statistics, and we use the AutoClimate app to tell us these, technology that helps us figure out these numbers. We also look at the nearest UFOs. UFO stands for unfilled orders. What we mean by unfilled orders is where we expect there to be a big stack of buy orders that could push price up if price were to get there, or a big stack of sell orders that could push price down if price were to get there. So again, we're using the Auto UFO app to help us find these on a chart, and it helps us find them without us using our eye. It's the technology doing it for us. What we'll also go through is volatility. Volatility means how far we expect markets to move within given periods of time. So we'll go through that for each of the markets, and then we'll talk a little bit about impact news or high impact news that could affect us before we round off. So let's get started. We're going to start with the S&P. The symbol that we're using there is the SPX.X. So let's find trade session. Here we go. So we've got the S&P here. So as we said, we're using the Auto Climate app to help us figure out our trend or our climate. We have a thick blue dot that is showing to us here. The Auto Climate app is showing us a thick blue dot. What that means is that we're in a confirmed upwards climate. So if it's blue, it means it's an upwards climate. If it were red, it would be a downwards climate. Thick means that there are more probabilities. So a confirmed climate means we have higher probability that that climate will work if we get into a trade that follows it. If it was a thin dot, then it would be unconfirmed, meaning we have less probability. So Auto Climate app showing us a thick blue dot, so we have a confirmed upwards climate. That's what we see here. Closest UFOs, we have this UFO here. That's the closest stack of buy orders, closest buy UFO at 3115.86 to 3101.17. Closest sell UFO, red UFO, up here is 3207.18 to 3233.13. That's where we expect there to be sell orders that could push price down. And we're kind of, what are we, maybe 3/4 on the way down between those at the moment. Okay, so like we said, we had a confirmed upwards climate. On the newsletter, we show it by showing an upwards green arrow there. So you can see that their upwards green arrow tells us that we have a confirmed upwards climate. If it was unconfirmed, it would have a little cross next to it. So it would look kind of like that, I guess. There you go. Obviously, no cross means that it's confirmed climate. So what we want to understand is how long is this climate likely to continue? We don't want to get in late to the party. So what we can see here, and by the way, I'm going to round up all of these numbers. So no matter what the decimal place is, I'm always going to round to the next number up there. So in this case, we see that the S&P normally goes up for 11 candles on a daily chart, which means 11 days. And we are on candle number 4. So what that means is we have probabilities on our side, statistics on our side, that that climate is likely to continue because it hasn't yet reached the average of what normally happens in this market in that direction. Now, of course, and we'll see a little bit later, sometimes things do fall outside of averages and outside of probabilities. None of this is guaranteed or 100%. Obviously, when you have loads and loads of data, there's going to be anomalies. But it's all about putting odds on our sides, having probabilities in our favor. And what we see here is that we do have a confirmed upwards climate, which has probability, and we have probability that the climate will continue. And as we saw, we're sort of in between two UFOs at the moment. Okay, so staying on the S&P, let's just come down and understand volatility, which is how far we expect it to move. So volatility, I'll just explain it quickly before I go into it. So volatility means how fast we expect markets to move or how far we expect them to go within certain periods of time. Now, we get the implied volatility numbers, the expected movement here, expected volatility, from the price of the options of these markets. So options are often traded by professional traders. When they buy and sell the options, they're setting the price of them. Now, they're obviously going to be willing to buy and sell the options based on the risk that they're willing to take in these trades. The risk they're willing to take is based on how far they expect price to move. So in a sense, the price that they're buying and selling for reflects how far they think these prices will move, which means that where we get this data from is basically a consensus of what professional traders think. So that's what this implied volatility number is really. It's what professional traders think will happen in these markets. So for the S&P, we look at the VIX, VIX.X, that's the chart that we use to get the information here. And we can see under this column for all of them, it's all annualized. So all the percentages there are annualized percentages. So what that means is that in 1 year on the S&P, we would expect it to move either up or down by 28.92%. Now, obviously, we might trade in shorter timeframes there, so we can reverse engineer that and understand that we would expect a movement up or down in 1 day on the S&P or 57.30 points, a movement up or down in 1 week of 126.14 points, and a movement up or down in 1 month of 262.59 points. Again, it just gives us an idea of how far these markets are likely to move within those given periods of time. Okay, so let's move on to oil. That will be the next market we look at. You'll see the ticker symbol that we're using there is @CL, and that is the continuous futures contract for oil. So let's go here, @CL. Okay, I'm just going to move the chart a little bit so we can see our UFOs that we need to see. Kind of squish together these two here. I want to make sure that we get them both in. There we go. Okay, so once again, we can see that we have a thick blue dot. So the AutoClimate app is telling us that we're in an upwards climate, an upwards trend, and that we have probabilities on our side. Now, closest buy UFO is this one here. It's obviously nestled on top of another one. We've got two very close together. The numbers for the top one are 25.87 to 25.36. Closest sell UFO is up here at 53.39 to 55.27. Again, the UFOs are where we expect there to be either buy orders that push price up or sell orders that push price down if we were to hit them. And as we can see, we're pretty much in the middle, kind of far from either one of them here. Okay, so as we said, we had a thick blue dot, so a confirmed upwards trend or a confirmed upwards climate. We can see from the propagating figures, the AutoClimate app tells us that oil normally goes up for 7 candles on a daily chart, and we are on candle number 6. So we're coming to the end here of what probabilities suggest for it going in a particular direction. Although, as we saw, we're not really close to any orders that could push price on this time frame. So be interesting to see if this climate does keep going, if it doesn't really hit any resistance or hit anything that could push it back down. But like I said, we're coming to the end of the statistical probabilities there in terms of it carrying on in that direction. Okay, so coming down to volatility on oil. So to look at volatility on oil, we use OVX.X. That's the chart that we use. And we can see from that chart that we would expect a movement in 1 year. Obviously, everything is annualized. In 1 year on oil, up or down of 51.39%, which means in 1 day, we would expect a movement up or down of 1.31 points. In 1 week, we would expect a movement up or down of 2.89 points. And in 1 month, we would expect a movement up or down of 6.02 points. Okay, right, moving on to gold. That's the next one we're going to look at. We're looking at GC. So once again, the futures, continuous futures contract for it. Let's have a look here. Okay, there we go. Right, so once again, we have a thick blue dot. So a confirmed upwards climate. All of our markets for the last few days have all been confirmed upwards climate. Closest buy UFO, we have just here. We've obviously literally just made that. Looks like we've already just touched it as well. 1798.9 to 1766.3. So that's the closest buy UFO. Closest sell UFO is this one here, 1863.6 to 1879.0. Okay, so that's where our closest stacks of orders are. And we know that we have a confirmed upwards climate. Now, as I said before, sometimes things don't go exactly as probabilities suggest or exactly within the statistical average. We can see that with our propagating figures here. What this tells us is that gold would normally go up for about 6 candles on a daily chart. Again, I'm just rounding that number up. 6 candles on a daily chart, and we're on candle number 20. So we are quite overextended, like, what, nearly 4 times, 5 times, 3 times? Quite a bit overextended. Can't do that maths in my head. Quite a bit overextended than what is normal, what is average on this market. Bearing in mind that the longer we go where we're overextending, the less likely we are that it's going to keep going. If you put an elastic band, the more you pull it, the more likely it is to snap back. So although we have a confirmed upwards trend or a confirmed upwards climate, and we've just created another buy UFO, we are very much overextended and very much losing probabilities when it comes to how far we are into this climate. So interesting that we've got these sort of different forces playing a part here. It'll be interesting to see how long we continue breaking that probability, breaking that statistic. Okay, so in terms of movement on gold, how quick we expect it to move, we're looking at GVZ.X or GVZ.X. In a year, we would expect a movement up or down of 17.37%, which means in 1 day, we would expect a movement up or down of 19.9 points. In 1 week, we would expect a movement up or down of 43.7 points. And in 1 month, we would expect a movement up or down of 91 points. Okay, so that's movement on gold. Last but not least, we'll come back to the euro dollar. Again, like we said before, this is the highest traded currency pair in the world, and we're using the spot Forex data to get this information. Let's go back to this one and euro dollar. Okay, once again, I'm just going to move the chart around a little bit here so that we can see our UFOs. There we go. Okay, so we have a thick blue dot again, so confirmed upwards climate, so confirmed upwards trend. We have a big stack of buy orders here. The UFO is showing us that 1.1252 to 1.1184. Just rounded those to where they need to be on the pip. Again, we can see we've already touched this. We had a buy UFO just underneath it that we've touched multiple times before it went off and created another buy UFO. So a lot of buying power there. Closest sell UFO is up here at 1.1740 to 1.1816. That's where we would expect that if price were to get up there, that it would turn back down, having hit a big stack of sell orders. So going back to propagating, we saw we have a confirmed upwards climate. And we can see here that normally the euro US dollar would go up for 4 candles or for 4 days. And we're on candle number 3. So coming to the end of what probabilities suggest would be normal or average. However, we do have a confirmed upwards climate and a couple of buy UFOs just below us with no sell UFOs close. Of course, new orders can come into the market, new UFOs can come into the market and change it. So again, we're sort of playing against different probabilities here, coming to the end of our propagating, but we have probabilities with our confirmed climate and our buy UFOs. So again, it'd be interesting to see what wins out over the next couple of days. In terms of movement that we expect on the euro, we're looking at EVZ.X. That's where we get our volatility numbers from. So we can see that in 1 year, we would expect the euro dollar to move up or down of 6.97%, which means a movement up or down in 1 day of 50 pips, movement up or down in 1 week of 109 pips, and a movement up or down in 1 month of 227 pips. Okay, so as we said, volatility gives us an idea about how fast these markets are likely to move or how far they're going to go within certain periods of time. The climate and the propagating gives us an idea of in what direction and for how long in what direction. And then the UFOs give us an idea of when that direction might change, when the climate might change and when the price might turn. Okay, so let's just understand high impact news. This week is a pretty boring week in terms of high impact news. There's not really much going on. We've got these figures from fxstreet.com/economic-calendar. We filter by US markets and high impact news. So if you want to look at other parameters there, you can go to that link and sort of play about with the filters so that you can see one that fits your trade plan more. If you do filter by US markets and high impact, you'll see there was nothing this week other than on Monday. We've already had that. Our data has already come out. It's filled in the actual column. If the actual column is blank, it usually means that we don't have that data yet. So like I said, nothing really coming up this week in terms of news that we know of that could impact the markets. Bear in mind, news is always going to be an indirect force anyway, in the sense that the most direct forces that move price are buy and sell orders. That's it. That's what makes price go up and down. Of course, news can impact those buy or sell orders, which is why it's important to understand what we have coming up and then use it in your trade plan, however makes the most sense for you. Okay, so a couple of reminders before we round off. If you're not already part of the group, part of the subscription, you can do so, www.tradictive.com/you-can-trade. If you're not sure and you want to try us out for a bit first, absolutely fine. You have free 14-day access anyway when you start this subscription. So you can try us out for a couple of weeks, come into the sessions, the futures sessions, options, stocks, investing, sharpening, use the support and the SMSs and whatever it is that's all part of that subscription. Try it out for 2 weeks first, see if it makes sense to you, and then go from there if it does. And then again, just a reminder, the upcoming course that we have is our psychology course. That is July 11th to 17th off the top of my head. If you want to learn more about that, www.tradictive.com/psychology live. And again, we have an offer on courses. So you can choose any additional course for free. So it's kind of like a buy one, get one free situation. The additional course that you choose has to be of equal value or lesser. So go on the website and sort of play about with that so that you can make the most out of that deal, obviously what you want to learn. All of the courses are going to be foundation upwards of different concepts. Obviously, the next one we have here is psychology. Okay, so today being a Wednesday, we'll see you in the future sessions and the options session as well. At 4:15 p.m. Eastern, my colleague Boyan will be looking at what did happen in the markets, what went as expected, which of these forces did win, what went to statistics and what didn't. Be particularly interested to see what happens with gold, see if we keep pushing that that high there. If you have any questions, as always, email us support@tradewithufos.com. Otherwise, guys, hope you have a good day in the markets. I'll be back tomorrow morning, so I'll see you then.